They're back. Good morning and welcome to this episode of In the Spotlight. Things are abuzz here as this episode is coming to you live. This week, In the Spotlight, The Fly and The Fly 2. Anyone got a can of bug spray?
Hi, and just like a cheap horror movie, we're back. Hopefully this time to stay on for a while and give you our insights on these movies. As you can see, last time we had a bit of technical difficulties.
But don't hold your breath if you plan on us staying around for another few minutes, but who knows what could happen.
In this crazy world, who knows? Take it away, Kyle.
Let's start off with The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum. It's now currently on videotape, but seeing how we're doing the sequel, we thought we'd do the original. Okay, Jeff Goldblum, otherwise known in the film as Seth Brundle, invents a telepod machine. What you can do is you can stick any object inside the machine, and it'll demolecularize
Say that one 5 times
the
fast.
object, move it into the next pod, and then recreate the same structures and put it back together. Now, it started out where it wasn't working very well, but after a while, Seth finally created it and it would work on everything. There's only one problem though. He decides he'll put himself through it. And accidentally, a fly happens to go in there. And instead of changing heads or whatever happened in the first one, they combine the Seth. He turns into the fly after a period of time.
What happened was the computer got confused, so it decided to blend the human with the domestic housefly. And slowly he turned into a human fly.
Known as Brundlefly, as he named himself. And as he turns into the fly, he gets very ugly. And his girlfriend is like, oh no, I don't know what I'm going to do. And they go through a lot of tangles, and at the very end, well, I can't tell you the end, but you can probably figure it out when we talk about the sequel.
Yeah.
So
That's a pretty good movie. The first one was really good. Who was it? David Cronenberg, I believe, directed this one. And he did a really good job on this one. I was surprised because the original Fly, I didn't think they could do anything with it. I mean, the original Fly, Vincent Price, who are you teasing, right? It just was no good. But Fly, the remake, was excellent. I mean, it was well done. And just a real fun show to watch.
And the way they put it together made it look like, it could really happen. The way he had the computer set up, and it didn't look like they used any fake things or tried to exaggerate things. It was really good. And it was also a Mel Brooks film, which you wouldn't expect because he made Spaceballs and Blazing Saddles and all those films. But I think he's just showing a new side to his creative thinking, and worked out pretty good.
Yeah, but definitely go out and rent this movie. It should be out at any video store. It's been out for a while. You might even see it on cable if you're lucky, on HBO or whatever.
Or TV will probably be coming on there too.
It's a real good movie. It's got originality. It's even got some gore for those of you who don't like gore. Because, as you know, flies don't eat their food, but they break it down with vomit.
Yeah, regurgitate all over.
Yes, and they show that a couple times in the movie. So whatever you do, stay away from lasagna while you're watching this flick.
Yes, the effects are good.
Yeah.
But, of course, at the end of The Fly, Brundlefly got his girlfriend pregnant. Shame on the boy. And guess what happens? Well, that brings us to
The Fly 2.
Yes.
There's not much I can say about this one. It starts out following the original story with the original Fly's girlfriend in the operating room having her baby. Only it doesn't quite come out a baby. It comes out a big old larva type thing.
Yeah.
And they cut it open and out comes
but not a maggot.
Yeah. They cut it open and out comes the little baby Brundle. Well, it seems that the girlfriend worked for some big industry company. Bartok. I don't know what they do or anything, if it's defenses or what all they work with, but she worked with him. And it was this kind and ever so generous boss of hers that allowed her to have her baby when she didn't really want it. And he adopts the child much more or less as his own and wants him to work on the telepods. But this boy is he's a little snot. Tell him about him, Kyle. I don't even want to talk about him.
Well, he's very, very highly educated. He's got a photographic memory. You show him anything, and he'll remember it for the rest of his life. And he invents this little hood thing that's got all these different mechanisms. It's got spotlights. It's got It's got spotlights. It's got magnifying glasses. It's got everything on it. And he likes to. He's a little mischievous. He doesn't like to be told what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not most people do. But
to say the least.
He breaks into this one thing, this kennel, and there's this dog in there that he really falls in love. Well, he doesn't fall in love with it. He likes the dog, and he goes back a while later to visit the dog, and he notices the dog's missing. So he gets his own clearance and stuff by using this little helmet deal.
And computers and everything.
Yeah, and
of course, they give him access to computers.
Of course, he needs it. And he sees that they're using the dog to put through a telepod machine. They seem to have revived it from the first one. So
now, how they did this, you got me, because I don't ever recall him making any disc or blueprints or anything on it, and I know they were destroyed in the first one.
Oh,
so
yeah.
where do they come from? I don't know.
They're probably just the one broke or something, because they only had 2 out of 3. I don't know how it goes, but anyhow, they got them back, but they're not working as good as they did originally. They stick the dog in the one side, and he comes out this
mangled mess.
Yeah, you don't want to pet the thing. And the kid comes in, he sees what happens, and he starts crying, and everything, and then.
And this is how they introduce young Martin Brundle, which is the kid's name, to the telepod machines, which Mr. Bartok wants him to work on. And of course the child can do this because he doesn't age like we do. Normally he is 5. Well, when he starts work on them, he's 5, but looks like a 22-year-old.
Yeah, he sort of resembles Eric Stoltz.
Which really bugs me, because to think of the fun I've missed out on.
Yeah.
Anyway, and he goes and he begins work on this. Well, it seems that this dormant gene of his father's is in him as well. And once he hits a certain age, it begins to grow, and golly, it turns him into a fly too.
How about that?
Is that a shocker or what?
Mm-hmm. That sort of explains the title.
Yeah, but go ahead, Kyle. Tell him how bad it was.
Okay, let's see. Well, after everything is finally done, and they go through all the stuff, and of course he ends up turning into a fly, and his girlfriend, they get in argument. His girlfriend, it's a lot like the first one at the end. The beginning, they sort of exaggerate things, but still, I can follow it, You sort of say, well, anything's possible. They can make a guy turn into a fly, I guess. They can make a kid grow up faster. But the film isn't quite as good as the first one, because the first one's really getting you thinking. The second one, because of the first one, it's not as good because you've seen most of the stuff in the first one. But the very end of the second one gets you going. Because of what happens at the end of the first one, the second one, you can hear a whole bunch of people in the theater counting down the time to see what's going to happen at the end. And you're really anticipating. And of course, the graphics are pretty good. Tom Sullivan, who we had on in the Spotlight Scene 2.
Right, Tom.
Yeah, hi out there if you're watching, and probably not. He did the effects for the head and the legs, as he said, and pretty good effects, I should say. Most of the best effects in film.
But basically what you're saying is you actually found this movie good, to a certain extent?
To a certain extent, yeah. It was just like, it was a lot like the beginning wasn't too good, but because of the graphics in the second one, I started liking it, yeah.
I find that hard to believe, because all The Fly 2 it's just a copy of the first one. He starts turning into the fly. In the beginning of it, he's good. Just like his dad was in the first one, he's a nice guy and everything. He starts turning into the fly, and he's scared at first, just like the first one. But then, in The Fly 2, he starts thinking, well, I want to become a fly, because it's bettering my life. Just like in the first one.
Exactly.
He gets it on with his girlfriend, just like in the first one.
So they can have the
They're
Fly
gonna have
3.
the Fly 3.
Probably. I don't know what
They had they did nothing new with the telepods that the first one didn't do. I mean, how many things in the first one did they get that ended up getting mangled? It's about the same amount.
Yeah, baboon.
He got ticked off at his girlfriend in this one, just like in the first one. All it is just a cheap copy of the first one. It's like they remade it, only they changed the circumstances just a little bit and added different faces, new talent.
Yep. The only big difference in the film is the kid, which isn't a kid for very long, and the ending.
Yeah.
But
I don't see how you can say the movie was worth going to again because of that.
the same reason you can feel that it's worth taping a Friday the 13th when all 7 of them are the same, and so are all the next 6.
It's a fetish.
It's
I see where you're coming from, but personally, I thought this movie just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, but
it had its moments. I'll give it that much.
Yeah, but for a sequel,
it wasn't.
If you look at all the other sequels that's been made, this is one of the better. It does copy, but at least it's going. I mean, some of these really are nasty.
But we're not talking about the other ones. We're talking about The Fly.
Yeah.
And see,
well, if you like the first one, you probably like the second one because it's almost the same thing.
I enjoyed the first one a whole lot, but they did nothing new that I really seen. I'm sure the FX were good. They had better FX.
The FX are good.
And they had little bits and pieces that were different, but not enough to get me really interested in going with this movie. I mean, it just didn't work, dude.
Yeah, this one was funnier than the first one. There's one scene where they bring back an old enemy of Brundlefly, and he says a few one-liners that can crack you up.
He's got a couple little jokes there, yeah. Like, oh, he really bugged me. Just little puns like that, but
you had to be there.
You had to be there.
The way they said it was much funnier.
I won't comment on that, but I have to disagree with you here, Kyle. I mean, if you haven't seen the first Fly, go ahead and see the Fly 2. You're not missing anything. But they just couldn't live up to the standards that the Fly 1 had.
If they even think of having a Fly 3, that would be bad because it's going to be they're going to have to come up with a new way of a bigger new way. They got to have something change. I mean, like have the body's parts not come together right. I mean, like upside down instead of perfectly matched or something. So he'll be looking weird. Something's got to happen.
That would hurt very much.
Yes.
But anyway, all right. We both agree that the Fly 1 was worth it, but the Fly 2 we're torn on. I say it's not worth $250. Kyle says it is worth it, and that you would probably go see it a second time.
I don't. Well, it depends. Most likely, I'd probably wait because I know it's going to be on HBO because the first one was. Of course, I don't know how they're doing the rules anymore, but I don't know. It depends on if there's like a party going. I would see it again. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I've just lost all respect for you in my that I've ever held.
Yeah. Well, you don't know what you're talking about. Anyway.
No.
Okay.
On with whatever. You got sequels.
Yeah. I started last time. You start this time.
I don't want to start this time.
Okay, I'll start. Okay. Of course, we have our 10 sequel things, but 3 of them are really the same ones we said before. We just got new name changes. Okay, we have the last of the Ghostbusters now. Instead, Bill Murray said he didn't want to do Ghostbusters 2, and he doesn't even want him to do a Ghostbusters 3. So he said, well, why don't you just call it the last of the Ghostbusters so we don't have to do it. If he really doesn't want a Ghostbusters 3, all he has to do is not sign up for it. I personally don't like the title, The Last of the Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2 looks better because they got patches now that's got a ghost with 2 fingers sticking out for Ghostbusters 2. Pretty sweet. Okay.
It's just a gimmick.
Also,
I think The Last of the Ghostbusters makes a better title because, look behind us. You got Slumber Party Massacre 2, Police Academy 5. You got all these movies that have a number after it.
Yeah, I hate numbers, but this is like one of the few times I actually thought it would look good because he got the 2 fingers. Ghostbusters 2 fingers. It would be sweet. All the other ones could change. I don't care about all the other people.
Yeah, it just seems too normal for me. I think the different name was better. Yeah. It's like no one else does it.
Okay.
But anyway, continue.
Another one that had a different name was Star Trek The Final Frontier, but from what I heard and seen on posters, they finally put the 5 back in, so it's now Star Trek 5 The Final Frontier, so they went back to the usual standards as well.
Yeah, so they can bring out Star Trek Part 6.
Yeah. We also have a brand new Batman film coming out. It's got Michael Keaton as Batman and Jack Nicholson as the Joker. And from the makeup I've seen, it's real.
It looks worth it.
It looks, and it takes place before Batman meets Robin and all that junk. And I've seen the car. The car is sweet.
It looks like a good movie. I've seen pictures from it as well, and I am definitely waiting for this one because after Michael Keaton in what was it, Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Just watching him, a big comedian, try and act as the serious Dark Knight. That's going to be worth it right there.
Yeah, I didn't think he could do it, but from the scenes I've seen on HBO, it looks like it could be pretty good. Also, we have coming out March 17th, Fletch Lives. Yes, Fletch is back, and everybody else he ever portrayed is coming back. I've seen the scenes for it. It took a long time to get out. They kept calling it Fletch 2, and they said it was coming out for like 2 years. It never was finally released.
See, that's another example right there. They dropped the 2 and they added a different title to it.
Yeah, I like that one. Seeing how the book, there's a book called Fletch 2, and that actually takes place before Fletch. And there's a Fletch 1 that takes place before Fletch 2, spelled W-O-N, and 2 is T-O-O.
You're confusing people.
Oh, well. March 17th, watch for it. It's funny. Also, we have a play that became a movie, that became a TV series, that became a new TV series, is going back to being an old TV series. The Odd Couple. Nothing big, but it's coming out soon, so I said I might as well say it. Again, Jack Klugman and Tony Randall are going to be in it, I guess. I don't know what they're going to do new. I don't know if it's going to last, but it's coming, so. I was in a short play with it, and nobody will let me forget it, so. Anyway, The Odd Couple, the series is better than the movie anyway, so watch for that.
Okay, cool.
What do you got?
What do I got? Oh, God, my face is turning red. I'm embarrassed here. Like, last episode, I believe, we mentioned License Revoked, the new James Bond movie coming out. Well, they changed the name on me, and I am in error. The new name is going to be License to Kill, and it should be out sometime July. I feel really bad because I was wrong.
Yes, but you didn't know. It was the License to Revoke, so.
All right,
Don't
I feel
take
better.
it too bad.
I feel better now.
Yes.
Also coming out, they have The Gods Must Be Crazy 2. Seen the first one. It was weird, different.
Very weird.
I don't know if I'm going to go see the part 2.
It'll be on HBO.
It was odd. It'll be on HBO sooner or later, and I think I can wait till then.
2 funny scenes, no.
Also, here's one that I'm shocked about. They have Stripped to Kill 2 Live Girls.
Yeah, that's not Strip to Kill 2 Live Girls. Strip to Kill 2.
2
Live Girls, yeah. Don't
What?
get that mistaken.
I don't
Personals.
ever recall Stripped to Kill 1.
I saw it. I don't think it was any good.
I have no idea. That's something to look forward to because if the title sounds interesting. Also, there is for you horror buffs, yes, number 2, Toxic Avenger Part 2. Why? The first one sucked. It was bad anyway.
I never even got to see it. So.
You're not missing out on anything. It was a stale movie.
Yeah.
This one, supposedly, the Toxic Avenger goes to Japan. Ooh. Big deal. Also, for you little kiddies at home watching right now, Saturday morning cartoons, we have Police Academy, the cartoon series, with everyone's favorite group, the Fat Boys, doing the title track for that one.
So I can't see how it goes from an R-rated movie to a PG-13 to a PG to practically a kid show with Police Academy 5 to now a cartoon. Something's going on. I don't know.
It's ruined, dude. It's gone.
The R one was funny, but obviously there's a good reason why it was R, but
Yeah.
we can't tell you.
Yeah. Well, that's about it for this week. We'll be back whenever things happen and we get out to the movies. We'll be back and telling you what to go see.
I have no idea when they'll be, but we'll try to be back.
I'm John Horton, and
I'm Kyle Pierson.
And we'll see you again
in the spotlight.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of In the Spotlight. We hope you will fly to see those movies for yourself. And of course, stick around for our next show. And happy belated Valentine's Day from the cast and crew here at WHBS.